how long had you been sort of mulling this idea about before you started to write it and really started to get things rolling?
Well, thank you guys for coming again. I'll start off by thanking you guys again to warm you up, to ingratiate myself to you. I had this initial idea about 10 years ago, actually, and I wrote it as a script for a short film that we never ended up shooting. It was before we made Brick, and my friend Steve Yedlin, who's also my cinematographer, we were kind of just losing our minds because we were spending all our time just beating our head against a wall trying to figure out how to get money for Brick. And so just to keep our sanity, we started making short films on the weekends. And we made one called The Psychology of Dream Analysis, which you can find online even now.
Which is the short that I saw that convinced me I wanted to be in Brick, actually.
But Looper was one of those that we wrote, and so I wrote this I had discovered Philip K. Dick around that time, and I was just blowing through all of his books, so my head was just kind of steeped in that soup of sci-fi ideas, and yeah, this kind of 3-page thing. At some point I'll put it out there on the internet as a document, probably when I put the script out. You can see it, it's interesting, but it just kind of popped out. And then after Bloom, that's when I picked it up again and turned it into this.
So I noticed somewhere, I didn't see the credits this time, but somewhere in these credits you have the gentleman who made Primer was involved.
Shane, yeah.
Yeah, what was his role in, well, I know we've talked, that is a huge, you love that movie, we all love that movie, that's
yeah, if you guys haven't seen Primer, it's a fantastic time travel movie. Very, very different than this. It actually, one of the pleasures of it is it really digs deep into the complexities of time travel. And he made it literally. I mean, you always hear like the PR thing in movies. They made it for $8,000, but he really made this for $8,000. Like, it's incredible. But I had become friends with Shane over the past few years, and the truth is he didn't end up having much involvement in this. I showed him a script, and he was kind enough to give me some notes. And then we had talked about collaborating on one of the effects sequences in this, but it didn't end up happening. That sequence ended up getting cut, so Shane didn't actually end up being involved.
Joe, talk about just how you came up with a character that was a version of a young Bruce Willis. I mean, that's sitting here. That is not necessarily the first guy that comes to mind, but
why not?
But just talk about that process of becoming Bruce.
Well, yeah. It was just a lot of homework, which was a pleasure to do. It was a unique challenge. You know, my favorite thing to do as an actor is to become somebody else. And whenever I see myself on a screen in a movie, if it reminds me of myself, I feel like I haven't done it right. I always want to see somebody else. And this posed a unique challenge and gave me a unique opportunity to really transform myself. And I always knew it would. And then we cast Bruce Willis, or he cast Bruce Willis, which was a huge fist pump moment, like big victory. Oh my God, he liked it and he's doing it, that's fantastic. Wait, how the fuck am I going to do that? That's going to be really hard. And, but yeah, you know, makeup was certainly a big part of it. And the makeup artist is named Kazuhiro Tsuji, the guy who designed it. And he and I actually knew each other from before because he had done my prosthetic makeup on G.I. Joe, which is a really different makeup and this big, like, cartoonish villain thing. But he and I stayed friends, and when we wanted to do this with makeup, we didn't think it would work digitally. We wanted to do it with makeup, and we presented it to him, and it was a great come up that he would do it for, you know, because we didn't have the kind of money that you would normally make, but he's a real artist and really wanted to do it. And,
you didn't want to do it at first. Not because of the money, but because he looked at both of their faces and explained to us in great detail why it was impossible. And side by side, Kazu's like kind of like a quiet, soft-spoken Japanese gentleman, and he's just like, oh, it's not possible. No. And we really had to actually needle him for months, and I think finally he just was too polite to say no to us because he realized we weren't going away.
And what about the voice? What did you do to kind of get your voices approximately?
Yeah, well, yeah, I just studied him, you know, like I would watch his movies and I would like rip the audio off the movies and put them on my iPod so that I could listen to it on repeat. And in fact, Bruce even recorded himself doing some of the voiceover monologues notes and sent that to me so I could listen to it. But I think the most important thing was just getting to know him and hanging out with him, and having dinner and having conversations and spending that time and letting it seep in.
I'm wondering, when you were watching the movies, was there a particular mannerism that you just sort of locked onto and said, oh, I got to make sure that gets in there somehow, like some little move? Or I noticed a lot, especially right in here. How like he has that crease there that like they replicate with the makeup, but there's a certain look that he has when he's moving. I have to do it, but it was fun. But do it. I can't do it. I can't. I literally can't. I don't have the wrinkles in the right place. But was there something that you kind of latched onto? And
well, when I started trying to do a voice, one of the first things I noticed was that he's actually really soft spoken, which is odd because he has such a powerful presence in his movies. You just assume that he'd probably have a big strong voice, but he actually is really understated and soft spoken. And Brian was always telling me not to mumble, which was good that you did that. But it's true. He really speaks quite quietly because he's confident enough. He doesn't feel like he has to raise his voice or be imposing. He just has the innate power to be Bruce fucking Willis on the screen.
So Ryan.